welcome to Filmfolket's podcast. We that speaks today is Göran,
Johannes,
Daniel.
Today's movie is Robin Hood, Man in Tights. The movie in brief.
Well, what you have is an irreverent retelling of the legend of Robin Hood, largely poking fun at the Prince of Thieves movie, but also the Adventures of Robin Hood with Errol Flynn, a movie from, I think, the 30s. And it also has a scene that spoofs the archery contest in the Disney take on the whole thing. It makes fun of a lot of scenes from the originals and has Mel Brooks's trademark comedy stylings. I think that's really fun.
Yeah, that's a good summary, and I totally agree. Especially when they're both making a parody out of Prince of Thieves and also putting in a lot of jokes from other movies from the times and reference to other stuff, especially when they are, for example, the boy that is running around, and it's like a reference to Home Alone, and they're not afraid to break the fourth wall. See a lot of times that a camera is bumping into something, or like this can't be right, and then they start to put the script from their pocket and start to read. I have another chance. So that's another cool detail, and also many of the music numbers is also kind of funny and hilarious.
Very Disney-like. Except for the rap part, that's give me I like the Super Mario Bros. Show vibe. The Super Mario rap, got the same beat and everything. It's very similar. Funny though.
Yeah, I totally agree on that part as well, because it was like they were trying to be cool, but they were not really cool.
And of course, we have some dad jokes in this movie. They are pretty funny. And some jokes are a little bit risky, but also funny.
I mean, this movie came out like in the 90s, right?
93, so 2 years after Prince of Thieves.
We cannot say that it's basically a product of its time, and some jokes might not fly today, but just you have to see it from that perspective, and it can still be an enjoyable time to watch.
And the acting is, I think it's flawless. It's really fun. There were a lot of laughs. And I think it holds up in that department, the whole comedy part. It's just an overall fun movie.
Yeah, to have Cary Elwes, we recognize him from as Wesley in Princess Bride, and he does this comedic role pretty good. And I think it's also fun to see many different actors in these kinds of roles.
Yeah, the role really fits him.
Done him up in a way that he resembles the Errol Flynn version. I think that's fun.
And I also like the reference that they have to the other Mel Brooks movies as well. I mean, there is a couple, especially when they're like talking about, didn't you have that mole on the other side? And I felt like, oh, that's a reference to Young Frankenstein, and then we have like another reference to Blazing Saddles. So it's an adjointable thing that they've been putting in that thing as well.
The same thing with the villagers in the beginning, but leave us alone, Mel Brooks, because the villagers are always getting hurt in every one of his movies.
Yes, there's some self-referential jokes and some visual gags, and I think there's a good balance of different styles of humor, so to speak. And well, stylistically, it's I think it holds up in a lot of places. But you also have these. In my notes, I've written that some things are timeless and some things are not, and that's just the way it is. With when you make essentially a parody and you make fun of specific scenes in specific movies, all right, that's basically bound to another property, and you kind of get it that way. And in other ways, it's just a funny scene, and then you have things that are essentially referential to the popular culture, or I don't know, political things at the time, and in that sense, you basically have to know what's going on in the culture at the time, and those things might be jokes that fall flat to a modern audience.
And I really like when this person was gonna tell to the prince or sheriff of Nottingham that the news, and he didn't really want to hear bad news. So if you tell it in a funny way, and then when Sheriff Rottingham was telling it in a very laughable way, it became even worse. So that was a really funny scene.
You have these almost cartoonish scenes mixed in with a more, let's say, conventional comedic stylings, and kind of jumps around like that. And I mean, Mel Brooks movies, you kind of expect this sort of thing, but maybe it's not for everyone. I don't know.
Especially when they were gonna be tortured in the beginning, when they were gonna like draw out his tongue. That felt very cartoonish in a way, and it was quite funny.
And I also like the way they get introduced to the torture chamber. It's like a hotel or something, or a fancy restaurant.
Oh yes, Falafel, who leads them around, and he has this strange combination of his Middle Eastern clothing and this tuxedo as a presenter. I think it's an interesting choice.
I was wondering what could have been done differently, and other thoughts.
Well, we finally get a Robin Hood with a proper English accent, as the joke goes. It was interesting to see Patrick Stewart as King Richard. That's peculiar because he was actually considered for playing King in Prince of Thieves. And then he does a Scottish accent on top of that. I think that's a reference to that too. I would say that the magic pill that Latrine the witch, or whatever she is, gives to the sheriff near the end, it's actually a piece of candy that's called a lifesaver. So that's a visual gag that kind of doesn't work for a modern audience, because I don't know if they even make lifesavers anymore.
I completely missed that. Now when you say it, yes, it is a lifesaver. Oh, the dad jokes in this.
I read that apparently this movie and Spaceballs are the Mel Brooks movies that actually sold the most copies.
Yeah, I can believe that.
It's pretty interesting because of how this movie wasn't as well received as his prior work. They basically thought that he lost his edge, but it's still a very popular movie. As for what could have been done differently, I think it's always fun for these, let's say, medieval settings and the stylings that for the costume design, and in some places maybe we could have put a little more effort into the costumes, as some of them appear pretty cheap. But they did a pretty good work with the sheriff to resemble Alan Rickman's character. It was really good.
Well, ideas for next time.
I would really like to watch that Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, sure, why not?
We've been putting it off for quite some time now.
Is that a short film or?
No, it's a feature.
I mean, we have that, and also can't come up with any other films. And we also have a Page Master that we're trying to find.
Yeah, I'm going to make a few phone calls about that. We'll see.
Yeah. But other than that, I wish you all goodbye for this time. Don't forget to watch, like, and subscribe, and follow our social. See you next time.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye bye.